be just the presiding officer for right now. Somebody to run the meeting.
Okay, presiding officer.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, we could have roll.
Mr. Chapman?
This is motion on Sarah running
Yes or no?
Sorry. Ms. Gracious?
Yes.
Mr. Ziegler?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson? Sorry. Ms. Terry-Moore?
Yes.
All right, the motion carries. Ms. Thompson has been appointed the presiding officer. For everyone here today that is not the vote from mayor that will come later, this meeting will be called to order by Ms. Thompson short.
All right, 7 p.m. This meeting is called to order. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's going to
on.
Yep.
You hear?
Lori, can we get a roll call?
Any better?
That's pretty loud.
Good.
Mr. Chapman?
Here.
Ms. Gracious? Here. Mr. Ziegler?
Here. Here.
Ms. Thompson? Here. Ms. Terry-Moore? Here. All right, the first order of business is the nomination and vote to fill the vacancy in the office of mayor.
I would like to make a nomination to nominate Sarah Thompson to fill the office of mayor for the remainder of the term.
We have a second.
I'll second.
Motion carries. Actually, sorry. Can I get a roll call on that, Lori? Mr. Chapman?
Yes.
Ms. Gracious?
Yes.
Mr. Ziegler?
Yes.
Ms. Terry-Moore?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Congratulations.
Probably.
I'll walk you through the possibilities.
Let's proceed with the meeting.
We've got, well, if I may.
Yeah, go ahead.
We have a point of order here. The new mayor can be sworn now. If you were sworn now, you vacate your office immediately. You will not be permitted to vote for the remainder of this meeting. We still have quorum without Mr. Miller. However, any 2-2 votes would be split by the mayor. That would start our 30-day timeline to elect a council member. So those appointments would come from council as well. They're appointed by the legislative body. We can discuss how you'd like to move on now. That oath can be administered by any notary, myself, or Ms. Sparks, who would qualify. And I have the oath written down here somewhere.
Okay. Can we just do it at the end of the meeting then before we adjourn?
We can do whatever you all want to do.
Discussion, do you agree with this?
I'm good with that.
All right, let's do the start of the meeting. All right, so the next order of business is to approve the meeting minutes for August 14th and August 28th. Do we have a motion to approve the meeting minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes.
Second.
14.
All right. All in favor say aye. All opposed nay. Sorry, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. The motion carries. All right, next up we have staff reports, and we'll start with the fire chief.
Thank you. You have our report in front of you. We had 86 runs for the month. 63 of those were EMS, and broke down the totals of the transports and the other services provided. There was 30 fire responses, We did end up going to Covington a few times. They had on Crescent Avenue, they had a house, they had 3 houses on fire, so we were there assisting them. And while we were there, we had several calls for service to assist them mutual aid, which we were able to answer all those calls. We had both squads staffed, the ladder truck staffed, and then the pickup trucks. So the volunteers did a great job coming back and pitching in and helping to make sure that the calls, whether it was in our city or out of city, were answered. We did have a small kitchen fire on Elm Street. It was out upon arrival. I did attend the first responders meeting for the upcoming bridge project, which is going to affect the traffic coming through town once they start that. So it's going to affect our response down Elm Street. We're going to get a little more traffic. I'm sure people are going to use that as a cut around. There's more to come on that. Their website is updated. So if there's anything people would like to see, there's going to be information on there. We did have the fireboat on the river for the fireworks, assisted by Detective Edwards, just helping provide any safety, any needs that anybody would have. The intern program is going pretty well. Currently, we have 5 high school, we call them junior firefighters. They're there Monday through Friday from 8 to 10:30. And then we have a total of 10 recruit interns. 5 of those are volunteer and 5 of those are the college program. Mr. McKay's report is attached as well. Is there any questions?
Did we have, looks like you had, if I'm reading this right, 191 runs year to date, with like 55 last month. Does that seem high or?
Yeah, this month we were a little higher, and sometimes it's just the summer months, the warmer weather kind of picks that up. And then we've made, some river runs, which has kind of helped pick that up as well.
Thanks.
And then, like I was mentioning too, in the day we were at Covington, we had, I think, 7 or 8 extra calls that counted for that as well.
Any other discussion? Questions? Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, ma'am.
So Shane is out of office, so we'll move on to code enforcement. Katie?
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I want to take a minute and just touch base on 2 fall cleanups. Both of these are on our website, city website, as well as the city Facebook page. In 3 weeks, the Kent County Fall Cleanup will take place. That's on Friday and Saturday. That's out at the Kent County Public Works, which is located at 420 Independence Road. You can take appliances, furniture, mattresses, yard waste, electronics, and up to 8 tires. So that'll be a 2-day event. The Ludlow Fall Cleanup will take place this year, October 18th. That's on a Saturday. That'll take place from 9 to 1 at Roll-Off. They're located at Ash and Traverse. And obviously the same type items will be accepted, including tires or paint, as long as it's been solidified. Any questions on any of that? I know there's usually quite a few. The fall event, feel free to give me a call, and I'll do whatever I can to answer all of your questions. So that's all I have tonight. Questions from me? Thank you.
All right, moving to Chief Beck.
Good evening. We had 888 calls last month, according to the CAD. According to the other CAD, we had 887, so we're back to a discrepancy. I kind of gave up on our discrepancy, 300 calls. Out of that, 718 were community-oriented, policing stuff, lockouts, road checks, stuff like that. And it leaves us with about 170 calls for actual crimes. Patrolman Lindsay resigned in August. We replaced him with Darryl Hallwell, who retired from the Kent County Police Department. very experienced. I went to a training with the FBI on the National Academy retrainer. It was a week long, and the topic of discussion there was basically active shooter threats in harsh game soft markets. I got some stuff in my report about that. I probably don't talk about it in the open just because there's some weaknesses in there that need to be addressed. We're going to advertise our weaknesses. That's about it. If there's any questions, I can try and answer.
Well, I think it's good you've been working with the school, you and that's all that. Such a good construction matter, make sure all the doors are locked, so there's no access from outside, keeping everybody safe. That's good. It's difficult, construction.
Yeah, the construction
And there's a little extra work that it's necessary.
Yeah, the construction road, usually the school's really good about it in years past, but the construction companies aren't school employees. They're just, they got a job to do, but they don't really understand the sensitive nature of the security of the school either. So it's a constant battle.
Sounds like you're having it.
Yeah, Brian does a pretty good job so far. So far, he's doing pretty good. So.
All right, thank you, Tika. All right, so moving on to the mayor's report, I just have a quick thing to say. Today is 9/11. We honor those who lost their lives, the first responders and their families who still carry the weight to this day, and to remember the unity and compassion we once shared as a nation during that time, a spirit I hope we can return to soon. With that in mind, I want to thank my colleagues on council and everyone who showed their support tonight and via email. It means the world to me, and I'm ready to get to work and work for Ludlow. All right, moving on to council committee reports. We'll start with finance. Steve?
We did meet yesterday. We went over a lot of detail on checks that have been written, so we signed off on all that stuff. We did discuss the upcoming tax rate hearing. I know there's going to be some information on that tonight. So what I did, I've got some information I passed out. I condensed that 28 pages down to one page, but it's got some detail, and it just gives you something to think about. And when we get to that point, I can point out some things on how I did this, and then I've got some extra copies. If anyone wants, they can see exactly what we're talking about with current tax rate.
Thanks.
I have the pleasure of joining the finance committee, mainly just from an educational, trying to learn a little more. We get one concern there with regards to the compensation that the former community center director had gotten paid for, but maybe there was some question as to hours work. And I just wondered, how do you feel we need to handle that?
Probably need to look into it a little bit further. I think we get with the city administrator, look at that report and determine what action may or may not be taken.
Yeah.
Because again, we're finance. We just look at those things and bring those to the concern of the city administrator and the mayor.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Moving on to Parks and Recreation.
We haven't met, but we are working on a fall event, or I am working on a fall event with Greg Reeves at CP Reeves. I'm waiting for him to make a final determination if he's going to move forward. If not, I'll get our committee together, and there will be some type of fall event, and hopefully I'll know something next week. And we've started working on the Christmas parade, and that will be the second Saturday in December. We've already knocked that down with Shane, so that all the decorations and everything will be up.
Dave?
This is really kind of Paula's time of the year, and I just want to kind of be there to support her. She needs people to help out there. So, she does the best in parades and stuff. She's great at it. So.
moving on to code enforcement and public works.
We did meet recently.
All right, moving on to the city administrator officer's report.
So if you were looking at Shane's report, you'll see a lot of sheets on there on benches, trash cans, things like that. It's part of our business corridor upgrades that we're looking to do, trying to get all the prices. I know a couple months ago or a couple meetings ago, Mayor Chris Wright was talking about maybe getting sponsors for benches and things like that. All that material, it comes about $35,000. So you're talking about adding enough benches, trash cans, flower pots, and those things is around 35 grand. So if we can get those sponsors, it'd be great, because if not, we're gonna have to work that into our next budget. On that, we haven't included the light poles yet, because we're still working with South Bank, which they should hopefully foot the majority, or if not all, the bill for light poles. You're looking at about 22 light poles, which was, I think, $39,000. So we're trying to work to get that down just a little bit, because that's kind of outside of what South Bank wants to pay. So hopefully we can get that as a total package, and going into next year, get our business corridor looking really nice and upgraded. That's the goal. Talking about South Bank and Will Weber, Pruis looks like they're going to be the construction company doing the work behind the football stadium on the Riverwalk. They had a little bit of discrepancy in the price. We were a little bit over budget as far as what we had. So Pruis did a really great job going back to the table. We met with them a couple times, and they got us under budget. So now that that's done, we hopefully will see them starting to get the trees down and get that stuff going. There's concern from the school and stuff, just because of football, that construction is going to go up. There will be a temporary fence put up to keep the balls and people and things like that while that goes on. And the construction company is very sensitive to the fact that there's going to be kids and games and things like that. I met with, so we got a lot of feedback. I went at the last meeting. I was out of town as far as the 800 Elm property and the construction that the city bought. Got a lot of feedback from a lot of people. Some, I guess, came to the meeting, and I got notes on that, as well as emails. And there's a lot of really good stuff. The developers I've talked to so far, two of them actually are very familiar with each other and are looking at doing something jointly. And they're also aware of some of these things, the suggestions. So hopefully they're going to go to the table and look at what they can do to tie in some of these ideas and suggestions that's feasible. I just want to remind everybody that the goal is also economic development. So it may not be all green space and free stuff. That we really need to bring in economic development. So hopefully they'll have a good mix of stuff that I can bring back to the table. It probably won't be anytime soon, probably over the next couple months or so. Hopefully I'll start getting plans back. Baseball field at Carlisle, you can see that the Public Works has been leveling it out, along with the guys who's Ideal is doing a phenomenal job getting out there, moving dirt around. The ground wasn't really smooth, so hopefully going into next baseball season, that's going to be a really nice field when we get done. Kudos to the Ideal company and Public Works for doing all that work. There was the issue of the $50,000 UC grant that we were awarded. We still have that grant, even though, like I told you last time, I'm unable to raise the other $150,000 through donations. We do have people wanting to donate to the park, just not to a fitness court. So, and it's not nearly the amount of money that we need. So we're going to have to make a decision. You're going to have to make a decision whether we just drop it all together, or if there's another way you guys want to try to finance that, or do we want to move on from that idea altogether? Completely up to you guys. It's a mixed bag. The park really needs an upgrade. I like the idea of fitness court. I like having something different and unique, but at the same time, it is a lot of money that we could use in other parts of the city. So I'll use the money wherever you guys want to use it.
If the $50,000 grant from UC isn't used for what they want it for, they take it back? Yeah,
we lose it. I mean, so it's just kind of in a holding stage right now. And I've asked for an extension so we could come back here and I could propose, and I did tell them that there would be a new mayor voted in tonight. So I asked for another month past this. And so they have a little leeway. They said there's no big rush to get rid of it. They do want an answer sooner than later, but they're willing to work with us. So the big decision is, we already know that we have, let's call it $35,000 that we want to dump in the business district, probably want to dump in the business district to make it nice. And then you have 150 over here in the park. You know, it's a lot of money when you add it all together. Do you put it in the park, or do you say the heck of the park, put it in the business district, or do you try to split it somehow? That's really the question, because to me, the business district is an absolute, it has to happen. Our business district doesn't compare to other cities. One of the things we've been doing this last month is myself and Jamie and Public Works and different people getting together and looking at other cities and seeing what's the most viable thing that we can do for the least amount of money possible. So to me, the business district has to happen, and Cable Park is kind of a secondary, but that's just my opinion. Anybody on? Now that there's going to be a new mayor, I'll deal with her later, and we'll set up some meetings to hopefully get department heads in to kind of, so she can become familiar with what everybody's doing, and so we can all get on the same page. Hopefully we'll have that in the next week or two, just so we're all on the same mission going forward. I got a few other notes in there, but nothing exciting. Any questions?
Just so I'm clear on the street lights.
Yeah.
Talking about, is that taking the existing ones down?
Yes.
And putting those up?
Yeah, so we were
I mean,
looking.
is it a totally different look?
Yeah, it's a much better, cleaner look. The light bulbs, the problem with those is they're from China, and if somebody hits it or it goes out, it'll take us about a year to get a new one. So that's why you see sometimes when one's gone, everybody's complaining they're gone. Well, it's at least a year, and the cost is outrageous. We've been working with South Bank and a company out of Illinois, and the great thing about Illinois is they got a really good selection, and they have them pretty quick. They can also customize them a little bit. So what we're looking at is hopefully having nice planter hangers and so we can hang flags and stuff. So a nice mix. On top of, I want outlets on them, on the top for wreaths and things like that. What we have out there, they're horrible. They're just awful. They leak. The lighting is not good. The poles, they break off very easy, and to replace them is impossible because they're kind of aluminum. So the cost to repair it is almost as much as just buying brand new ones. So we've got a few suggestions, and when we kind of get the price line right, I'll bring the pictures of them and stuff to see if everybody's good with it. But they're very comparable to Fort Thomas and some of the other cities that got really nice looking light poles. Anything else?
Thank you, Scott. Now we'll move on to citizens wishing to address mayor and council. Please approach the podium, state your name and address. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes and remain respectful.
Hi, I'm Audrey Davis Roberts, 46 Carneal Street, and I just had a question about the new council seat. Is that something that you guys are electing for like your old council seat? I'm just curious about the process.
Yeah, so once I vacate my seat, there will be 30 days to elect a new council member, and that will be the responsibility of the other council members.
And that would be done just like we did today. Council will nominate somebody. Obviously, the difference will be they can't nominate somebody on council to serve on council. So it will be a member of the community. After they're elected, they'll have 30 days to determine whether or not they want to take the oath of office and take the position. If we do not fill the seat within 30 days for any reason, the governor is given the right to elect to appoint.
If there's no other questions, all right, let's move on to unfinished business. We'll start with a second reading of ordinance 2025-10.
2025-10 is an ordinance adopting a supplement to the Code of Ordinances. Their Code of Ordinances is online and published by American Legal Publishing of Cincinnati, Ohio. They have prepared an update with all of our new ordinances and charge a small fee to publish those. This ordinance just permits that fee to be paid and for the update to be published.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to approve the ordinance 2025-10?
I'll make a motion, we approve Ludlow ordinance number 2025-10.
I'll second. Thank you. Lori, can we have a roll call?
Mr. Chapman?
Yes.
Ms. Gracious?
Yes.
Mr. Ziegler? Ms. Thompson? Ms. Terry Navarre?
Yes.
All right, the motion passes. All right, we also have a second reading of ordinance 2025-11.
2025-11 is styled an ordinance in Kenton County, Kentucky, adding section 40.29 to the Code of Ordinances. 40 is our Code of Ethics, prohibiting falsely impugning the reputation of employees, residents, or officers. It is short enough that I'm just going to read it in its entirety. An officer or employee may not falsely impugn the reputation of any resident, employee, or officer of this or any other jurisdiction. If an officer or employee believes their accusation to be true and learns it to be false, even in part, they should apologize in the same form and manner where the accusations were made. Failure to apologize within a reasonable period of time after learning of the falseness of the accusation will create the presumption that the conduct was intentional.
All right, do I have a motion to approve ordinance 2025-11?
I'll make a motion to pass ordinance 2025-11.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Lori, can we have a roll call?
Mr. Chapman?
Yes.
Ms. Gracious?
Yes.
Mr. Ziegler? Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
Ms. Terry DeVore?
Yes.
All right, the motion passes. Next, we'll move on to new business. We have a first reading and discussion of ordinance 2025-12.
2025-12 is an ordinance fixing the tax rate for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2025 and ending June 30th, 2026. This is ad valorem tax rate. We have received communication from the Northern Kentucky Area Development District that rate may be set between 0.53 per $100, 53 cents per $100, and 0.551, that is 55 cents per $100 for real property. For personal property, it may be set between $1.83, 1.832 technically, and 1.905. The ordinance leaves it to the discretion of council to set that rate. Those are the allowable rates. Other than that, it is the same as every year.
So can I say a few things on that?
Absolutely.
I can leave what extra copies I have. The report that was spoken of is about 29 pages, so I take that down and I condense it to one page and make it, give some final numbers. And so the numbers I did were very conservative. And I took out a different piece of it to even be more conservative. But just to give you an idea on the properties that are taxed, there's 1,922 residential properties. Of those properties, there's 349 of them are homestead. So that's about 18% of the properties are homestead. From the previous year, we had 8 million, so that continues to grow. And for those not familiar with homestead, if you're 65 and over and you live in a primary residence, the state of Kentucky gives you exemption that's taken off of your tax as far as assessment. And they change it every 2 years based on inflation and some other factors. So this year, that amount is $49,100 per property. What that means to Ludlow, if you take that by the number of properties, that's around $17 million that we have to take off the assessment. In other words, we can't tax that piece of it. It's exempt. Kind of like the churches are exempt from taxation. Okay? So that gives you an idea with that. Now, on the other properties we have 153 properties that are commercial properties, 4 properties that are industrial properties, and we have 1 telecom property. That's probably the equipment on top of the building for telecommunications service. So that gives you an idea of what we actually, of what's all is assessed. The PDA goes around every 4 years, and they reassess properties in Ludlow. The last time it was reassessed was 4 years ago, and the assessment from what it was the previous year, other from that, we gained in total assessments around $64 million, which meant that allowed us to drop the rate down to about 10% of that time. And then from there, you get new figures. So we always have new assessments that come in from people buying a home, selling a home. And this year, the assessments of all that happening, we saw an increase of about $6 million. So that's kind of how, and then the ed district puts all that into a formula, and it can get kind of complicated. So I just break it down on one page and kind of give you, what ifs. What if we used a compensating rate? What if we used a compensating +4 rate? What if we use the current rate, we don't change it, or maybe we decrease it, and what all the taxes would be, and what the city would receive in revenue if they're going to pay their taxes. We're about, of everyone paying their taxes, we're at a run rate of about, collection rate of about 96%. That's been about it. So I'll leave these out there, anyone can look at it. If you have any questions, just skip it, and I'll be happy to, meet with you one-on-one.
Just to be clear, there does need to be a first reading of a rate, right? So even though we're talking rates in general from 0.53 to 0.51, 551, there will need to be a first reading of a rate. So I guess the real question is, are you going to go compensating, or are you going to go compensating +2, compensating +4? I'll dumb it down. Steve's way smarter than me, so he likes to give numbers. So compensating, we're going to break even. That's pretty much what it means. When the app puts out these numbers with inflation, decreases, homesteads, things like that. The compensating rate of 0.53, which is right around the same run of what Southgate just approved, by the way. So they're right in the same realm that we are. It will probably break even, give or take, the new assessments and things like that, because it really is kind of a guesstimation until the assessments happen. So when you take compensating, you're saying, the ad district and us are saying, we believe this is where we're going to break even on our budget, property tax wise, and even though the budget's already come out and we've already approved it, it really doesn't start to make sense until the end of the year going into next year. That's why you reconcile the budget as well, because you're not going to get it right. No city does. That's why you reconcile it once, twice. Some big cities do 3. Compensating +4 is 0.551, and if you look at the numbers, it's not a lot. I mean, to a lot of people, if you go 0.53 to 0.551, you're talking roughly about $7 a month. That's what is going to increase to a $200,000 house. So if your house is $200,000, you're going to pay about $7 more a month at compensating +4. And a lot of people say, well, $7 is a lot, but when you think about inflation and the cost of materials for us to do roads, it really isn't a lot on our end as far as when we're trying to fix things, do our parks, our streetscape, things like that. I'm always going to lean toward the compensating +4, so we have more money coming in and we have a bigger safety net. There's a reason that we currently have $1.7 or $5 million in savings.
We've got in savings $1,496,000.
Yeah, and so we have that in there on top of we just bought property that we hope to sell and make money on and stuff. But at the same time, the reason we got here is because of the smart planning and moving forward. Nobody wants to raise taxes. Nobody wants to do it. But that $7 a month across the board is a lot when you're looking at making repairs and doing things. So the decision you got to make is, do you want to break even at compensating at 0.53, or do you want to go to the compensating +4 at 0.51? If you do compensating plus anything, there has to be a special meeting added to this. So just because of the way taxes come out, and we try to keep everything on schedule as much as possible, so Lori can not shoot me for stressing her out. So that's really what the conversation is here. That extra $7 a month, or do you want to break even at what, the compensating rate? Sorry.
And that's entirely correct. This will not satisfy at first reading, but it is for informational purposes for the community. We just got the area development district's rates, which we're bound by. We don't get to set those rates. That's where we need to set at the one. So
We do need a first reading out by rate. Yep.
that's what it's.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Okay. Sorry.
Right, you're correct.
Sorry.
Absolutely.
Any further discussion?
Well, we got to pick our rate.
Yeah, you're going to have to pick a rate that you want to discuss.
Okay,
And-
do you want to do this tonight, or do we need to set a special meeting to do that before the
Well,
caucus meeting?
you're going to want to do it because you're going to have a second meeting, and then on that second meeting, she needs at least 2 weeks' notice.
Yeah, if you do the compensating, anything overcompensating, you have to have a public hearing, it has to be published 2 consecutive weeks, not less than 7 days before the meeting, so we're gonna need a 2-week window.
Okay. All right, so does anyone want to bring forth a rate that they'd like to set?
I've always settled on compensating +4, so we have that little leeway, but I'm willing to have conversations.
All right.
Well, I like to keep taxes down, and I think we can still get by financially, leaving the rate the same, which is 49.9 cents per unit. Don't change it at all. That's why I put this out this way, because everyone knows what, and they can decide what they want. That's just my
What number did you, for my records, what did you use?
4.49.
4.49.
9.
That's keeping it the same, not going
Yeah, it's
compensating.
not changing the rate.
Yeah, just,
Keep it
yeah.
the same.
Is there another rate that we would like to put forward for first reading?
Just to be clear, you guys currently are less than compensating and +4 of compensating. I'm not a fan. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Listen, bare minimum compensating.
And I understand all the improvements you want to do in the downtown area and everything, but I think.
Can we at least go compensating, Steve, instead of going
I still
less
think
than?
we can be okay. We may not be able to do everything in 1 year, but I think things are going to be reassessed next year, and property values are going to go up, and hopefully that you might be able to see a lower rate.
Can we compromise the compensating +2? I mean, if we've done that before, I realize no one wants to raise taxes, but if we want to continue to improve our city, we're going to have to swallow.
How many rates can we,
Well, last year, I think we did 3.
no, I mean, how many rates for tonight, for the first reading?
That's what I'm saying. You can do 3.
We can do 3?
You can do 3.
I'm willing to think about myself, I'm willing to think about comp +2,
Okay.
but I'll think about it, but right now, I still like to have the current rate put down as a choice.
So we currently have just the current rate and comp +2.
So far,
And
Okay.
And then Julie said
And
plus.
Well, I wanted +4, but I said I was willing to compromise at +2.
Well, when we went to our conference, back in February,
January.
January, J.D. Cheney at the Kentucky League of Cities said verbatim that any city that doesn't take compensating +4 is hurting their own pocket. I'm not a fan of raising taxes either. I think I'm leaning more towards the point two.
Do we want to put that option on the table as well for compensating +4? And then have compensating +2, and then we're keeping it the same? Those 3 options?
Yes.
Okay.
So we've got the 3.
so I'll put another thing, we always amend the budget, because, we look at what the current real property revenue we receive, and that's what we use to determine our budget, okay? So even the way the rate is now, if it doesn't change, we're still a little over that, but I know we have other factors come in, we have to change. So we did have, and I pushed for it, we put $40,000 into the budget to have a digital sign installed. If it helps to keep the tax rate down and still do some other improvements that might be more important, I would say take that $40,000 and put it, when you amend the budget, put it someplace else where it might be better used. So that would be my compromise on that piece of it, since I push for digital signage.
Okay. All right, so we're going to have these 3 options. We're going to keep the rate the same, compensating +2%, and then a compensating +4%.
We have to read it all 3 ways tonight.
I gave my loaner copy to Mr. Ziegler. All right. The proposed rates for for ordinance 2025-12 are an ad valorem tax of .499 on each $100 value of real estate. And do you know the rate for personal property currently? You have it written down.
499?
1.667.
And 1.667
Oh, yeah, perfect.
for personal property. I'm going to do the 4% here. First, if somebody can do the math on 2%,
It's here.
that is a rate of 0.551 for real property and 1.905 for personal property.
Yeah. Tom said he won't.
Yeah. Proposed rate of 0.534 for real property and personal property.
Should be down below.
Yeah, and 1.842 for personal property. Those are the three proposals. They will be published and they will be debated before the vote at the next regular meetings. It's two periods of notice.
Yes, it has been 2 consecutive weeks, and the last one not less than 7 days before the meeting, so it's like 2 weeks.
October 10th sounds right to my ear.
No, it would have to be the end of September, is this 25th? I think we have to have a special meeting
So we'll do a special meeting
before the caucus.
Yeah.
Because those are due October 31st, this isn't giving us enough time. They're not set till
We can do a special meeting.
No, because we have to have at least 2 weeks. It has to be run for 2 consecutive weeks, and then, so the earliest, and that's if I could get it in by Sunday, so.
Thank you, Greg.
All right, next we'll move on to the first reading of ordinance 2025-13.
2025-13 is the fixing the tax rate for personal and mixed property in Ludlow for the purpose of fire protection and emergency medical services. It's a special ad valorem tax. This one is not being set as a variable rate. It is a proposed ad valorem tax of 0.1750 cents on each $100 of value of real estate and personal and mixed property for the fiscal year of 2025 to 2026. Those funds will be held separately in a separate account from the general fund and will be utilized only for fire protection and emergency medical services in the city.
I'll just mention that rate hadn't been raised since 2001, but because we're a city under 10,000 people, the most that rate can ever go up is 20 cents. In other words, 2.5 cents. We can't go over 20 cents on that. What we KRG. Just so.
Also, if I may speak, because it hasn't been raised so long, it's a really concern on the budget because we have a phenomenal fire service, and I think everybody agreed they like the response times and the service they get, but unfortunately the tax that comes in doesn't really fund the fire department, right? So we pull from the general fund to make up the difference, and we already know that we're a ladder truck, 8 years away from a new ladder truck, which is like $1.9 million. We have all these expenses that go along with fire. It is very expensive to have police and fire. And you can only raise that per vote. So come the next election, 2026, when it's time to vote for your mayor and stuff, the council, I suggest putting on the ballot to raise that and get it up to where we can at least keep up. It should have been raised years ago, multiple times, and it never was. And that's why they're roughly about $390,000 under budgeted. That's if nothing bad happens. We're pulling from the general fund about $390,000 to make it happen. So I think it's imperative, no matter what, that gets on the ballot next season.
All right. All right, we will have a second reading of ordinance 2025-13 at our next business meeting in October, and we'll also have a second reading at our special. I'm sorry. At the special meeting, we'll do both. Okay, that's fine. So we'll have a second reading of both these ordinances on September 25th and a special meeting before our caucus meeting. All right. Moving on to
Could I
announcements.
mention one thing on
Yes.
the tax? Lauren, on our tax bill, we have the garbage collection fee.
Correct.
It's with Rumpke, I know it's been going up every year. What is that going to go up?
This year it's 308.16, and next year it's 322. I can't remember the cents, but it's going up from 308 to 322.
Really?
And that's for this year, and then at the end of like, June 30th next year, we'll have to renegotiate for a new contract.
All right, moving on to announcements. We'll start with Ms. Julie Navarre.
I have nothing.
Mr. Siegler, council announcements?
Nope.
Ms. Gracious? Mr. Chapman?
If I may very briefly, we will adjourn the regular meeting and have the swearing-in ceremony for the new mayor immediately after. I don't know if NKOL would like to keep recording, but we'll do that immediately after.
All right, so the next order of business will be adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
So,
Thank you, Mr. Ziegler. All right, all in favor, say aye.
aye.
All right, all opposed, nay. All right, the motion carries. We are adjourned.
Are you doing that? Sorry, man. Are you doing it?
All right. That I will support the Constitution of the United States
And the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and be faithful and true to the Commonwealth of Kentucky, so long as I continue a citizen thereof.
and be faithful and true to the
And be faithful and true to the Commonwealth of Kentucky,
to be faithful and true to the Commonwealth of Kentucky,
so long as I continue a citizen thereof.
so long as I continue a citizen thereof,
And that I will faithfully execute,
and I will faithfully execute
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability
the office of mayor,
the office of mayor
according to law.
according to law.
And I do further solemnly swear
And I do further solemnly swear
that since the adoption of the present Constitution,
that since the adoption of the present Constitution,
I, being a citizen of this state,
I, being a citizen of the state,
have not fought a duel with deadly weapons within this state,
have not fought a duel with deadly weapons in this state,
nor out of it,
nor out of it,
nor have I sent or accepted a challenge
nor have I sent or accepted a challenge
to fight a duel with deadly weapons,
to fight a duel with deadly weapons,
nor have I acted as a second
nor have I acted as a second
in carrying a challenge,
in carrying a challenge,
nor aided or assisted any person thus offended.
nor aided or assisted any person thus offended,